Hi there, thank you for joining me to chat about this latest episode of Seeking Sister Wife, Season 5, Episode 4. If you're a fan of the show, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and also let me know your thoughts on the episode in the comments. So this episode starts out with the Davis family. We pick up where we left off from the last episode, where Danielle stormed off into the house. We see where Nick goes after her to see if she's okay. I'm not sure how much time has passed, but she says she was okay. He hugs her, kiss, and then they eventually went back outside. So Jen asked her what her concerns were, and she says talking about it can be challenging. It's still hard for her to talk about, and she gets choked up again. So what exactly is it? What's challenging? What's the problem? April brings up being insecure, how insecurity can play a role in the relationship dynamic for the family, and she alluded to have had some insecurities with Jen as well. She tells Danielle that she loves her and the family wouldn't be the same without her, and that she wouldn't want to raise Vera without her. So this is a bit much too, and I feel like she's already emotional. She's already feeling bad about having left, and I feel like her bringing up raising Vera without her is like, I don't know, it's giving guilt trippy a little bit, because every time she may think that she wants to leave, she's gonna think about abandoning the baby, and who wants to abandon a baby? I don't know if I liked her saying that. So I'm not quite sure about the insecurity conversation that April brought up, because it just didn't seem to me to flow with what was happening. Not that Danielle was saying a whole lot, but maybe something was edited out. I didn't see why she would bring that up. So anyway, Danielle keeps crying, and choked up. She says the relationship is special, and there's not a lot that she hasn't had a lot of relationships. She's not really used to. There's a lot about the whole dynamic that she's not used to. She says she's casually dated in the past, but this is her first actual relationship. And she says sometimes she needs to step back and have more patience with herself. She says that it breaks her heart to think that they could not be together, and she says that she lets her emotions get the best of her, and she needs to open up more versus keeping things to herself. In the confessional, Danielle says after being away for a few days, you realize who loves you, and she says that it was obvious to her that she didn't want to be anywhere else. Back outside, one of the wives mentioned that dating another woman can be scary, and Nick assures Danielle that, they will not just choose anyone else to join the family. It'll be somebody very specific and special, and who would enhance the family just like she did when she came into the family. In the confessional, the producer one of the producers asked Danielle if she loves them, and she says, "Yeah, I love them, of course." But there was a little hesitation before she answered, so I don't know what's going on there. She goes on to say that she has not loved anyone before, and I guess that's scary for her. And she says that she tells them at the table that the few days that she's been gone were the worst days of her life. Really? Okay. Now, Nick is worried that she would leave again because he says that she still has a lease on the apartment. We see where he meets up with Danielle for a one-on-one conversation it looks like they were having like a milkshake or something. And he tells her that he loves her. She's a great sister, wife, and mom. And no, he didn't say that to her. He said that in the confessional, sorry. He says that he loves her. She's a great sister, wife, and mom, and he wants to keep her in the family. Danielle, in her confessional, says that sometimes it's easier to talk to one person versus multiple people. So I'm guessing she's alluding to having to discuss everything or say things in front of other people. And so I guess maybe there's an issue with privacy as far as having personal conversations and not having to say everything that she needs to say in front of everybody. maybe perhaps talking to Nick alone versus having to include the other wives. So she says that things have been awkward since she has returned. Nick says he understands that she might not feel as secure as the other wives since they've been together longer and they're more in sync. And Danielle says, it can be weird being the new wife and she doesn't want to make waves. She says that, what has worked before for them in the past might not work now. And Nick says he may have underestimated how difficult it would be for Danielle because it was so easy for Jen and April. He tells her if she has any concerns or if she feels apprehensive about the way that they're moving forward, to feel free to voice her concerns, which I feel like she has. So, yeah, I feel like that didn't really need to be said, but okay. She says she wants to be able to talk about things, fix them, and move on. But I'm still at a loss. What things? What has happened? What was hard for her to talk about? Am I the only one who's feeling like I'm missing something here about what really led to her leaving? I just feel like I'm missing something. So Nick says, ask her what she wants, what she thinks that she needs from them, from him, the family, in moving forward. And she says that, she wants them to understand that, this looks different for everyone, this whole thing, because it looked one way for them when they were coming into the family, or because it looks one way for them in the past, doesn't mean things are going to look the same way for now. So they need to understand that things are going to look different and feel different for her. And she goes on to say that if they're dating someone and everyone agrees that, she needs to speak up and say, hey, I feel like it's moving too fast, or maybe I have a concern. This doesn't feel right to me. But I feel like she's already doing that. So this conversation just feels like a whole lot of nothing to me, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me. So Nick suggests that she has a one-on-one with April. He goes on to say that she was really hurt by her leaving. She's taking it a little bit harder than everybody else. And so I guess Danielle will be having a one-on-one conversation with April next. And he says he hopes that they can hash things out. Once again, is there something that has happened in the family that we haven't seen? The verbiage that Nick is using about hashing things out, was there an argument? Was there some disagreement? Like, what is going on? So I guess we'll see that maybe in the next episode, them having the conversation, and hopefully it won't be something vague that we still don't understand what has happened. But let me know what you think. What do you think happened? Why she really left? Was there something going on between Danielle and April, or what is going on? I feel like I'm missing something. But let me know what you think. Today, Ashley is meeting a new lady friend. I'm not quite sure how much time has elapsed since her breakup with Grace, but this sure is looking quick. Anyway, so she is meeting a lady. Her name is Sarah, whom she said she met on social media. She said that they haven't talked a whole lot, but she's excited to meet her. And it looks like they're meeting in a park. There's a pond, nice scenery. And so they sat down, and it looks like Sarah brought them lunch, and they had a little chit chat about lobster and, I don't know, some seafood conversation about, little chit chat, and something about, I don't want to say the wrong thing, about, was it Maryland or something related to seafood. Anyway, so we find out that Sarah has an 8-year-old, which, Ashley kind of liked that she had children as well, something that they had in common. She asked about how her appointment was. So apparently, Ashley had an appointment for her pregnancy the same day. And so they go on to talk about, we learned that Sarah also likes both men and women. And there was a little conversation about the pregnancy. Well, she mentioned something about the pregnancy aspect is a little unusual or something like that. So I guess she hasn't dated anybody who was pregnant before, which, yeah, this is odd. She's certainly not, letting this pregnancy slow her down. She's continuing to seek out potential wives or partners. So anyway, while they were sitting there, Sarah picked something out of Ashley's hair. And during the conversation, she had mentioned that one of the sexiest things about a partner is them being kind. And then Ashley had mentioned how she was getting goosebumps because it was so sweet. She's really giddy in the meeting. So she seems to really like Sarah. And she says that, she feels that there's chemistry. It's far more natural and comfortable than with Grace. She says Sarah tells her that she's gone out with other couples before and asked her, like, what are the stages to dating. So I guess she wants to know, like, how things will work. And Ashley tells her that basically they'll date and see how it goes. And then she goes on to talk about seeing a spiritual marriage or something like that with the right person, since she cannot legally be married twice. And I don't think I've heard this discussed before. Did I miss it? I thought she was just bringing in a partner who would be a part of their family, but I didn't think there would be any kind of marriage per se. But this is going to be, what she suggested was something that was going to be a spiritual thing. But it sounds like it would be a serious type of thing, but not like a legal marriage per se. So she asked about, if she would be open to meeting her husband, because she says that in her confessional that her and Shane are a package deal. And Sarah says she doesn't have any issues with that. So Ashley was happy about that. Sarah says she hopes that they can see each other again. So Ashley is super, super giddy. She also initiated some kisses with Sarah before they parted ways. So this is definitely different from what we were seeing with her and Grace. So when she gets home, she walks through the gate with a big smile on her face, and Shane noticed that as well. And he says, well, the date must have gone well. He couldn't wait to hear about this date. So he told her it was great. They had chemistry, and he was open to meeting him. So Shane was very happy about that. Ashley went on to tell him how, they had a kid, how she kissed her. And to which Shane was surprised, because she was like, you made the first move? And she was like, yeah. He was surprised that she made the first move. And then he asked how she felt about being, how did Sarah feel about her being pregnant? And she says that she didn't think she had an issue with it. She says she asked about the pregnancy, from the perspective of how it's going, but there wasn't really any issues as far as that being, a problem. So she goes on to tell him that she's been in non-traditional relationships before, which Shane saw as a plus. And he asked about whether there would be a second date, which, Ashley told her that she's going out of state, but they did agree that there would be a second date. But as far as when it would be, they don't know yet. They'll have to see when she returns. So Shane says Shane is excited for Ashley. He said he's proud of her, something like that. He sure is very, very excited for somebody who won't be involved with Sarah. But nonetheless, it's a good start to this thing that she's, getting to know Sarah. Very positive so far. So we'll see how things go with her meeting Shane. I'm sure it'll go well. She seems like an easygoing person, and especially the fact that she's dated couples before. So she should have some kind of understanding of the dynamic and how things would work. So in this episode, we see Becky and Ryan at their desk doing some calculations. And I thought maybe she was doing like something to do with QuickBooks or something related to their business, but she was actually calculating antioxidant levels. So she says she has a preventive healthcare business, and so she scans people and let them know their antioxidant levels. I'm not quite sure how, she didn't really explain how this is preventive or how antioxidant levels affect your health or anything. But anyway, that's what she said. So there's this handheld device that we saw Ryan was holding on to, and she was getting a reading. And so she was telling him that he needed a rescan, and I guess that's why she was giving him another scan. And so Ryan says that he's in construction. Anyway, so Becky also mentioned that there were some, his antioxidant levels went down. So, he had been taking some supplements. No, he says it went up. So he was taking some supplements, and because his antioxidant levels increase, so he should be motivated to keep taking his supplements. So I don't know if she's selling these supplements too. So it sounds like it's, yes, antioxidant levels as far as checking and monitoring, and then there's some supplement involved somehow. Anyway, we see where they're supposed to meet Desiree today. We're told that it's the next day. So they're supposed to meet Desiree at 2 p.m. So they're at this place. They arrived, it seems early. Ryan says he's nervous and he's worried that she might not show up. In the confessional, Ryan says that he thought that they had found someone. He keeps bringing up Stephanie. Much like Garrick and Danielle, they keep talking about Stephanie. So anyway, we see where they're at the establishment. It looks like they were having a shake or something. And they're just waiting and waiting and waiting. And Ryan mentioned that he doesn't even know what car she drives. So they're looking and waiting. And so then he gets a text. Why the text is coming to him? Okay, I guess she got his number. I would have thought that she would have texted Becky and not him. But anyway, he got the text. And she said, I think I'm chickening out. So she's not coming. She says she truly appreciates the offer, but she cannot do it. She got to think of her family. And she hopes that she finds somebody who is truly interested. Which is weird wording, because it was a little bit fishy that she said she wasn't interested, that she couldn't share her partner. And then all of a sudden, by the end of the conversation, it's like, yeah, I want to hear more. It just seems like she just wanted to be on camera. So I'm not really surprised. So the both of them are a little bit down because of this is someone else who's backing down from them, in addition to Stephanie. Of course, they're bringing up Stephanie again. Ryan says this all reminds him of Stephanie, and she had said that she felt like she was coming out as gay in the 1950s. So she was very uncomfortable at how this would be perceived by people. They're confused as to why, everybody has such a huge problem. We have Stephanie, who's okay sometimes, and other times she's not. Then we have Desiree, who was saying that she was kind of interested, and then now she's not. But, Becky said it was worth a shot, but they do admit that it's a bit of an emotional roller coaster. And he says that in the end, you have to love the one that you're with. And so they're going outside or somewhere around their property to relax. And he goes on to say, Becky works hard, she plays hard, and they're a good match. And I was just thinking, how unromantic. Like, you're talking about your wife and you're talking about how she plays hard and work hard. Like, you're talking about your bro. I don't know. I just thought that it was just weird. It just sounds like, yeah, I gotta settle for my wife. She didn't want me, so yeah, my fallback guy, my buddy, it's who I'm with. Anyway, let me know what you thought about how this turned out and what he was saying in this episode. In Cancun, we see that it's day 2, and we see Danielle, Garrick, and Natalia and her mom in the kitchen. So it looks like Natalia's mom is cooking. Initially, everybody was there. Then we see quickly that Danielle has disappeared from the scene. We see that Garrick and Natalia are having some banter with the translation app about some chef, because her mom has said that cooking is not her forte. But we see where when she's speaking into the phone for the translation app, Garrick is stroking her arm. He's so creepy. And then they cut to Danielle in the bathroom. She's doing her makeup, and I guess the producer's asking her how she's feeling. And so she says she's feeling overwhelmed. She's insisting that she doesn't feel like they're moving too fast, but it's kind of scary, and she starts to tear up. Clearly, what you're saying, your mouth and your emotions are saying two different things. So she said that Roberta had hurt them really bad. And she says that Garrick is going to propose, and she's going to give Natalia a sister necklace. She says she's worried about being hurt again. And so she also tells us Natalia had asked for a one-on-one chat with her. She says that, she's not fully ready to move forward because, things just doesn't feel right to her as yet. So anyway, they went away from the house in it looked like a gazebo or something. something like that, away from the main house. And so Natalia asked Danielle if she's really okay, with the lifestyle, because she's sensing that she's not doing okay. Natalia asked her if she has doubts about her being the right person, or is it doubts about the lifestyle that she's having. And she says that, the doubt comes into play because of what has happened with with Roberta, because Roberta was in their lives for 3.5 years, and so the breakup was really hard. Natalia asked her, how she feels about the closeness with her and Garrick, and Danielle says she just feels nervous and afraid. It's a big step, and she asked her if this is something that she feels like she could commit the rest of her life to. It's a big step. And Natalia says she's fine with it. She's in love with Garrick, but she wants to know how she really feels, because if they move forward, she's going to have to make some big changes in her life, and she would have to live with her. So she wants to make sure that she's okay. Danielle says that there will be struggles, but they'll work through it. So in the middle of the conversation, here comes Garrick. What's going on? And so Natalia says she doesn't feel comfortable being in a polygamous relationship if Danielle is still afraid. And Garrick's like, what? You're afraid? Why would you say that? So he seemed like he's upset and trying not to show it. Basically, you could tell that he feels like, Danielle says the wrong thing and could potentially mess things up. Garrick says, you told her you were afraid? And so Danielle was like, I didn't say that. But Natalia says, you told me that you were afraid after everything that happened with Roberta. And so she went on to confess that, yeah, she did say that. And so Garrick was like, I'm at a loss. Like, he can't believe that she said that. Basically, you're going to ruin everything. Like, zip it. So it's crazy that he's saying that, because she's clearly not ready to be in a new relationship, but she's allowing herself to be forced into it. And I just wonder, like, do you love her at all? She's clearly not ready. She's clearly still heartbroken from Roberta. Are you looking at her at all? Are you paying attention at all? Like, it's clear that she's not ready. And he doesn't care. He doesn't care. He just wants to get to what he wants to. And it doesn't matter how Danielle feels. So I feel bad for her. And so he asked Danielle, is that all you said? And we see Danielle is crying, that she knows Natalia is not Roberta, but she was devastated after how things went down with Roberta. How she had to divorce Garrick to be able to make things work, and how she's devastated that she had put her trust in Roberta, and Roberta basically, broke her trust, broke her heart, and so, she trusted her, and now she fears that this could potentially happen again. Garrick says that he feels torn, and that he knows she's struggling with what happened to Roberta, but she feels like God promised their family more than Danielle. What does this mean? Like, she's not enough? Like, she's, more than Danielle. Why would you say that? To me, it's just making it seem like she's not good enough to be the only person in your life. So he goes on to say that he had a vision of having 5 wives. Really? So he says he's ready to propose, and that Danielle basically is messing things up and he's not happy. So now Natalia says that she thinks that they will need more time before we move forward, because that way Danielle can feel more comfortable and basically get over the heartbreak. Now, how is it that the youngest person in the group is the sanest? Like, neither of the two can see that they shouldn't be rushing into this right now. Natalia is the stranger, and she seems to care more about Danielle's well-being than her own husband. That's just insane. So now he goes on to bring God in the picture now. He says that fear is never from God, and you will lose out on your blessing because of fear. And Natalia says she doesn't think that God would want Danielle to be unhappy. He claims that he doesn't think Danielle is unhappy, only in certain moments. And then Natalia asked to speak to Danielle alone. So he kind of huffed and puffed like, what the heck? As he's walking away, he's like, what the heck is going on? So Natalia asked her after Garrick left, like, is this real, the lifestyle that you want, or are you doing this just for Garrick? And she says that she's the one who suggested that they live this way because she felt like God wanted it. And I'm like, really? I don't know if I believe this. I feel like you're brainwashed into believing this is, if anything, at a minimum. Now, Natalia says that she understands that that Danielle feels like this is a calling from God, but even if it was, she doesn't feel like God would want her to be as sad as she is. And she says that, she's not Roberta, she's a different person. She feels like they need to get over it, and she cannot suffer basically for the sins of Roberta. Danielle tells her that there's never a perfect time to start a new relationship. Well, there's definitely a wrong time to start a new relationship, and it's when you're not over the previous one. And you're clearly heartbroken. So what do you mean? And so she says that they should move forward with the plans that God has for their family. And I don't think Natalia is entirely believing this one. At least I hope not anyway. She thought that, Natalia says that she thought that the Roberta thing was in the past, but now it doesn't seem to be. She says that Danielle had mentioned it once in the past, but then now she's hearing about it again, and it seems to be that it's not really in the past. So Garrick says, he's feeling uneasy. After the conversation with Danielle and Natalia, he basically looks like he's about to cry. Like he just wants to scream because he's ready to propose. He's ready to hanky-panky or whatever. And now things are going to get delayed because of what Danielle said to Natalia. Danielle is worried that Natalia may not want to move forward because of what she said. And continues to put Garrick's feelings above her own. Like she's hurt, but she's worried about Garrick. Like, forget Garrick. What about your well-being? So next we see where Natalia is asking Garrick about being on a dating site after telling her that he wasn't. She says that he was the one who volunteered to not be on the dating site anymore. But what do you know? She saw a notification from the dating app, which really surprised her. Danielle's like, yeah, your profile is still there, but Garrick is acting like he doesn't know this. So I guess he thought that because Natalia didn't speak English that he could just play little games and do whatever he wants. But, and so he's kind of surprised that she confronts him over this. So he's in kind of like a pickle. And Danielle is not covering up for him either. Danielle's like, yeah, you knew that. Then he says, yeah, but I can't get messages. And Danielle's like, yeah, you can. And so basically in the confessional, he kind of admitted to lying because he's like, oh, I have these two women coming at me and I'm trying to just cook dinner and not have to talk about it or something to that effect. So Garrick then proposes to deleting the app. But Danielle was like, I asked you months ago to delete the app and you didn't want to. He's like, what? No, he didn't. He denied it. And Danielle was like getting angry. He's like, yes, I told you to delete it months ago and you say you didn't want to because we're going to be looking for other wives. And dude, you're so embarrassing. Just stop. Just admit that you lied and save your wife the embarrassment and the heartache and her getting upset. He knows he's lying and he just keeps lying. So Danielle is getting upset and Natalia's like, what's going on? Translation, please. And so Danielle is kind of annoyed because she has asked him months ago to delete the app. And so now that Natalia is involved in the conversation and questioning him still using the app, now he wants to delete it. And so she's feeling annoyed and disrespected. She's feeling heartbroken. He claims that he wasn't doing anything on there. And Danielle's like, that's a lie. You're on there all the time. And then he says that, oh, I just get notifications like when I get likes or whatever. But that's beside the point. You didn't delete the app. That's still activity. You're still aware of what's happening on the app. If somebody messages you, even if you're not in the app, if you're getting the notification, it's going to tell you that somebody messaged you, somebody liked your photo or something, or whatever the case is. So he's trying to lie. He just keeps lying. And so they have a little argument going on. And, she says that he's been looking for new people. And he lies about that too. So now she's questioning her relationship with him, like what's really going on, because, he's showing her no respect at all, and he's just bold-faced lying in front of her. So it's just a mess. And I hope that her standing up to him today, which I'm surprised, she was like, telling him, that's a lie, you did this, you did that. I just hope that this is like a light at the end of the tunnel for her to see that how this man is treating her, and to hopefully take steps to put herself first. So that's all for this episode. Let me know your thoughts on the episode and especially what's gone down with the Merrifields. Like, comment, and subscribe.